Hi everyone, it's Dominique Fragale here, and you're listening to Chris Gordon at hellblazer.biz.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, listeners, wherever you are in the world right now. This is hellblazer.biz with your host, as always, Chris Gordon. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate all your support, as always. Today I bring to you an actress who's recently been filming Knights of the Damned and is about to film a new sci-fi film, Universe of Gods, based on the best-selling book by a German author. So without further ado, I bring to you the wonderfully talented Domenique Fragale. Good morning, Dominique.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I know it's very
Good.
strange starting a conversation after we just spoke for 20 minutes, but
We did speak for 20 minutes. I know. I thought, no, we're going to get straight into it. No, had a lovely
no.
chat.
I'm a rambler, yeah. So
No, that's fine. I'm a rambler when I get going as well, so we're going to get on fine.
excellent. Okay, as you know, we've got some questions just to sort of get to know you a bit more and
Hmm.
let the audience out there and the fans get to know who you are
Yeah, great.
and know about you. So we shall kick this right off,
Great.
so I can let you get back to your day.
Well, I think it's a little bit gloomy outside now, so I'm not really sure what I'll be doing now.
I know, I was actually looking this morning myself. It's been sunny all week, and yeah, it's grey skies now.
It has. I know.
Just
I
in
was
time for the
getting.
weekend.
I know. I was like, oh, because obviously I live in LA sometimes as well. And I looked out and I was like, oh well, I love London. Like London is always my home, but
hmm
I do miss that LA weather. I really do miss it. I'm not gonna lie. So,
Yeah. Oh, I can well imagine.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Looking
Yeah.
out. I mean, I live near the beach, but literally about 2-3 minute walk from the beach. But yeah, it's not the same as like Malibu Beach.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a difference. Yeah.
Just a tad. Yeah. Real
Just a
beach, you,
tad, yeah.
you come out glowing if you go in the sea here. It's radioactive.
Yeah, you do. Because you're like so cold, probably.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Or 3 arms and 5 legs and.
Lovely.
Excellent, cool. So, kind of, what made you decide to get into acting in the first place, then?
Okay, so I think my parents would always tell you that I love to entertain from a really young age,
hmm
but I was never that child who was the center of attention. I hated the attention when it wasn't a camera on me, for example. I think
Yeah.
my parents. I was the firstborn, so I think my parents loved to record everything that I ever did, and they have this picture. I mean, it's not a picture. It was a piece of paper with a splash of green paint on. I did when I was like 2, and they've still got it on their fridge. And my mum and dad are like, "Oh, it's your first painting." I'm like, "No, I probably knocked over the paint by accident." That's
Yeah.
probably what happened. But they love to record everything, and I used to love to dance in front of the camera and sing. I don't know if I was any good, but I did it anyway. And then I took ballet lessons up until about 17 or so,
hmm
and yeah, I just always loved to entertain and tell stories, and I think that's what acting is mainly to me. I always find it's a way of storytelling and sharing something with an audience or a viewer, and it's like going on a journey together. And
hmm
I think that's really beautiful. It makes being able to act and make the audience or viewer feel something by what you're doing, I think is great. And I love that thrill of that, I think. And I always say to people, I can't imagine myself doing anything else, which I think is a big show of how much I want to do it. But
Yeah.
if I did want to do anything else, I think I'd love to go into ancient Egyptology, like the whole,
Right. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's like the inner geek coming out in me. But yeah, I'd love to do that. So I might, on the sidelines when the jobs aren't coming in, uh, take a course in that. But yeah, So I think that is why I want to go into acting. It's a very roundabout way of saying it, but
That's all right. Fair
yeah,
enough. That's all
yeah,
right. That's quite good. It helps, I think, a lot of when you've got that early age thing to develop as well, and to actually, put it out there and continue that from an early age. I mean, I went
yeah,
into acting. I loved it at school. I did it. I was in
yeah,
school musicals. I was Drake
yeah.
the butler in
Oh,
Annie and Annie. Which was
Pretty
my
well.
first taste of. I was always very self-conscious, and I hate myself and hate the way I look and feel and stuff. But that's the first time I went out on stage and I actually got wolf whistled, and I was like, oh! I almost corpsed and froze on stage. I was like, oh my god, that was for me. It's like,
Stay on here. You have to drag me off. But,
it was a tuxedo, I think. That was all.
Lovely. Yeah.
But yeah, and stuff like and obviously, you carried it on A levels and things like that. I was actually going to speak to you because you've got Lambda as well. Because I was invited at one stage to take Lambda, but it was the direction my parents decided wasn't the right direction for me at the time.
Well, they may have been sensible parents.
Yes, because the 99% of actors are pretty much unemployed at the moment, so it's a very tough business.
Good. To statistics. My parents, I think actually my parents would agree, because my brother's a musician and a songwriter, and he's into music production as well, but he loves music. And I think my parents are like, why couldn't you choose real careers, you kids? Like, why couldn't you be a doctor or a lawyer? But no, we decided to make it difficult for them, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Family of the arts.
It is, isn't it? I know, but my parents, they're not actors or anything. And I mean, my dad loves art and everything, but yeah, I don't know where it came from. So I must be insane. I must be like something's in me that's insane. But yeah.
Well, no, we need performers. We need actors. You see, that's why. So
we do. Yeah. Good. I'm going to keep telling myself that.
But I mean, to be fair, with the Lambda ones, you did distinctions on both of them as well. So that's pretty impressive.
Thanks. We got offered it in sixth form, actually, in my first year of sixth form. I went to school in Lincolnshire, and I went to this school called Spalding High School, and it was an all-girls school. And yeah, we got offered the opportunity to do Lambda, and there's only a few of us who wanted to do it because I don't think we really knew what it was. And I remember wanting to do it straight away because it was about acting. I thought, amazing, I'll do anything I can. And I got put with a mentor called Ian Mann, who is incredible. He's probably going to be really embarrassed that I'm mentioning him, but he is this incredible actor, and he was so patient and so wise. And he helped me a lot through like dealing with getting into the real industry, like realizing how strange the industry is. But yeah, I managed to get a distinction in grades 7 and 8, which was a great feeling because I thought, actually, maybe I'm pretty good at this. I don't know, maybe I can do this. And then I went on to do the National Youth Theatre in the summer of 2012, which I would encourage any young person to do. It was the best 2 weeks of my life. We went to Manchester, Salford, to perform this huge outdoor piece called Flood, and there was about 300 of us.
Wow.
And it was amazing. I met friends I'm still in contact with today. I'm actually meeting one later this afternoon, and it's so great because you see each other and everyone's doing so many different things now. And it's like why I always like to keep in touch with people I went to drama school with as well, because you never know where everyone's going to end up.
Yeah.
And you just never know how someone could help you or just be a shoulder to lean on, because it's such a small community acting in the industry. And to be able to have other people turn to is a lifeline. Like, you need that, I think, for people to understand that as well. Like, for anyone who didn't go to drama school, it's very difficult to get across what it was like. I mean, I went to the Arts Educational School in London, and it was the best 3 years of my life. I met amazing friends, but for only having 26 of us in the whole year, that is a very small amount. So you go through blood, sweat and tears all together, and you see each other every day, and there were arguments, there were romances, there were falling out, but they went through everything together. But I wouldn't change a thing about that. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling on that now.
That's fine. That's pretty cool. It sounds very like, you're right. It's without sort of going to an environment where it is such close knit, it is difficult for someone else to understand. I went to university myself in Lampeter in mid Wales, and it wasn't a massive university, but I think there's about 400 in our year, in the whole year. No matter. So I know, 20 years on. So that was a cough because that cold's coming. Yeah, I'm not saying because it just depresses me when I realise actually how long ago it was now. But we're really still close knit because it was that small unit of people, and you had the romances, you falling out, you had your eating kebabs and drinking beer at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and in the halls, and everyone just gathered together.
Yeah. Oh God, I've got some stories about house parties, but we won't tell you on this one. I'll tell you after the interview. Yeah.
Don't want to do any damage. Excellent. I mean, you've also as well. You told me that you write for Spotlight UK magazine as well, and that's a pretty prestigious thing to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I loved English in school. I loved English literature and writing and English language classes. And I think if I didn't go into acting, like if acting didn't exist, I would love to have followed a career into English literature or publishing, for example, or something. Yeah. But yeah, I still like to write. I still like to write my own projects. I mean, I think that's a key thing as an actor, that when jobs aren't coming in, I think any actor will tell you that it's always best to write your own material as well, because you know yourself better than anyone. So it's always good to write for what you can do. Yeah. So I went to LA the end of November last year to perform in the LA Drama UK Showcase. It's for actors who are American or actors who hold a US and UK citizenship.
Right.
So I performed out there, and I got signed by an agency. And then in January, I decided to move out to LA on my own. And I was terrified. But I remember thinking out there after a couple of months of finally getting settled in, I was just like, it's difficult for the transition between London and LA because they're both so different. And for an actress out there who, I did have good friends out there, but you do feel alone because it's such a big city. Yeah. And I remember thinking, well, I'd love to be able to write my experiences for someone else who I know would love to come to LA as well and do what I'm doing. So I thought, you know what, let me contact Spotlight because that's where everyone is, and see if they'd be interested. And I didn't know what I think they'd be like, oh, go away, we don't want you. They were really interested. And I wrote my first article for them, and they loved it, and it got great feedback. And so now the editors were like, yeah, do you want to write for us professionally on experiences and doing interviews with renowned actors or casting directors or directors in the industry? And yeah, I've been doing that. So my last interview was with the incredibly talented and intelligent Michael Attenborough.
Wow.
He is such a lovely and charming gentleman. And I mean, we spoke for 2 hours straight just on Shakespeare alone. And I mean, that is, to me, that's like my heaven. Like, I can talk about Shakespeare for like ages. Yeah. But he was, oh my goodness, I was just like hooked on every word he was saying. And I was so interested in his life. And when he talked about his father as well, and his 2 sons, who are a great actor and a great director. And yeah, it's very old school. Yeah. Which I love. I love that acting way. So yeah, that should be published in a couple more weeks. And then I also interviewed Ben Lloyd Holmes, the writer and actor in Knights of the Damned, which I finished filming about a month ago, on his experiences as an actor and writer and keeping busy in the industry. And that should be out soon as well. So yeah, it was nice to get 2 very contrasting interviews lined up very close together. So yeah, it should be interesting to read.
Fantastic. That's actually is really, really good. Especially because you've got 2 passions there now. Obviously, you're writing as well, and to meet people, which I can say wholeheartedly, meet people who you actually respect and stuff, and talk to them and interview them as well. It's just something that is just indescribable feeling that of satisfaction and makes you feel, I don't know. It's a hard word to describe, but yeah.
No, it is exactly. It really is. It is. And it's so, like, going back to the close knit community thing. It helps out in so many different ways, because I honestly, there's been times in LA where I've been like, okay, what would I want to read as an actor, or who would I want to hear from? And yeah, it's incredible to be able to call upon friends who are doing well, and you know that other people would love to hear from them as well. Like I was bigging up my friend. I'm gonna big him up again now. He's gonna love this. He's gonna hear this and be like, "Oh yeah, she's doing it." Nick Gomez. Yes, you're
Yeah.
welcome. And but him being in The Walking Dead and everything. I mean, when I wrote about him, people were going crazy for it.
Yeah.
So